terms of assembling a great team around you, and that's something that I chatted with John Hunter earlier today, is, when he's working on the contract side and getting all of his moving pieces in place, he has a team around him. Like, how have you built your team? Who are the people that you look for in terms of having good people around you on the ownership side to be able to make sure you're most successful?
Yeah, I mean, it's an ever-changing environment, but Mr. Gallagher, a partner, has been in the sport a long time, and is not only has he built this racing team, but he's built many other businesses, especially businesses within the airline space, and has lived it all, the good, bad, and the ugly. And his experience and wisdom and who he is as an individual has been so helpful, and just really helped set a pace and cadence and understanding for me to mature into this role. And then as we're building out our executive staff, we hired Cal Wells as our CEO. I've known Cal since I was in diapers myself, from the off-road racing industry, and then of course know his history through all the years from IndyCar to NASCAR. And I just think he generally cares for my well-being, for Maury's well-being, and has the experience to really lead this organization as we try to put the right pieces together. And I think for us, one big foundational piece for us long-term is our relationship with Toyota. And as we all know, we'll be switching manufacturers this winter. We're eager trying to be able to receive all the information and data that's going to be coming our way. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes right now, on top of taking cars to the track each and every week. And to see our cars perform as they have here with limited resources, and they're very limited. I'm so proud of what Eric and Dave have done on the 43 car. We've had some good runs with the 42. So it's exciting to see all this start to come together.
You said you're eager to receive that data. I mean, how big of an impact is Toyota going to make next year?
I honestly, I don't know how to lay the percentages out. I know we're going to have an abundance of data, and far more than we've ever had. But at the same time, we need to understand how to interpret that data, how to apply that data. And I think in that process, it's going to take some time to find our groove, and certainly find personnel that knows what we need, and then can also work with some new systems. We've been in a different lane with GM and their tools and software, and Toyota has their own tools and their own software. So there's a learning process there that we'll go through as well. But I know we're all committed, and the support we have far and wide to make this work. There's going to be some bumps in the road, but we're gonna figure it out and be a championship contending team.
Obviously, that switch to Toyota is a big one. You spent your entire career under the GM family. What went into the decision on your end switching to Toyota?
Wasn't an easy decision by any stretch. There's a lot that goes into it. And to my surprise, as I've returned back to the sport and being gone just 2 years, it has changed so much. Teams could go test and develop their equipment as they wished when prior to COVID, and certainly my last year. And following COVID and where it sits now with the next gen car, the data comes from the manufacturers to the teams, and our kind of ranking where we sat within the GM hierarchy. We're pretty far down the chain, and certainly could work our way up the ladder in time. But I think it would have been a really, really tough challenge for us, and to get to that tier one, key partner status. And with Toyota's need for a third team, we're able to really put ourselves in that position right off the bat. So for the well-being of the company, the future of Legacy Motor Club, I think it's probably the most important decision and best decision we could have ever made. And time will certainly tell. We've got a lot to do on our end, but in the time I've been able to learn the TRD folks and everyone from Toyota, we have their full support, and boy, are they committed to success. And they're going to be fantastic partners. We're really excited about it.
I want to touch on, obviously, with everything that transpired with Noah earlier in August, and that led to him leaving the team and now signing John Hunter. What's the message from you as a team owner in terms of social media guidelines? I know John Hunter's heavily invested in building his own brand, as is Eric. Like, what's the message from you moving forward for drivers and how they approach social media?
Yeah, I think we all know and understand. There's certainly a lot that goes into social media. You know, I feel that mistakes have been made, and people do deserve second chances. And I've literally spoken to Noah every week since the incident happened, and really proud of the journey that he's on and what he's been doing to be reinstated into NASCAR. It was a surprise to us that he wanted to resign from the team to pursue some work he wanted to do himself. And I wish him all the best. And again, I literally speak to him once a week, and I'm so proud of him and the journey that he's on. And I think he'll be back stronger than ever, in a short amount of time.
You said you speak to him every week. Like, is it just catching up? Like, obviously, I'm not asking for specifics, but like, what do you guys talk about?
Yeah, just checking in on him. I mean, in the beginning, certainly more concerned, right? Like it was a big moment, and I was just thinking of him as a friend first and foremost. I mean, I got to know him really well over the last year, and then as time has gone on, the check-ins are more about the journey he's on and some neat experiences that he's having, things that he has really never done in his life before, and kind of the awareness and mindset that it's bringing to him. So, I'm proud of him. I think he's in a good place and doing a lot of growing. And again, I think he's very focused on being reinstated and coming back and being stronger than ever.
One of our drivers, I guess our driver at Dirty Mo Media, is Denny Hamlin, obviously with Actions Detrimental. He had Joe Gibbs on this week, and there was actually a funny moment. Joe was telling Denny, he's like, I told you to stay away from being an owner. The drivers have it made. Would you necessarily agree with that now being on the ownership side? Do you agree with Joe Gibbs in that standpoint?
Yeah, and Mr. Hendrick has given me a hard time over this as well. Um, it is challenging, and Mr. Gibbs and Mr. Hendrick know it more than anyone, better than anyone. I'm really hopeful that the new media package and the shared revenue will make a difference for the team owners. And I'm very excited about the collaboration between the teams, the drivers, and NASCAR to continue to grow the sport. So there are some favorable elements out there that I really think can grow NASCAR. And I do feel like, a 7-time champion like myself, being in the sport is helpful and is helpful to grow the sport. So I'm on this journey. I do feel like, if a budget cap does come into play and some of these other elements that are still being negotiated and talked about, I really think that it won't take, the commitment that Mr. Hendrick or Mr. Gibbs has put in to be competitive week in and week out. And I think if that is the case, you'll see more drivers get involved, and certainly other ownership groups showing interest in doing it, because it is complicated and it is tough. And I have realized that every morning you wake up, you go to work trying to sell. That's all you can do, because speed equals cubic dollars, and it's just how racing's always been. But I love racing, and I'm truly enjoying this ownership role, and look forward to the future.